In this video, I will show you how to work with bisectors of angles and segments to solve problems. Now, to bisect something means to cut it in half, exactly down the middle. So if we say that segment ST bisects angle RSW, then that means this. Here's angle RSW, and segment ST is this. Alright, so if ST is a bisector, then it means that it cuts the larger angle into two equal halves. So, for example, if we know that angle RST, which is the upper angle, if we know that that is 27 degrees, well, then bisector means that the lower angle will also be 27 degrees because these are two equal halves. Okay, and if we add 27 plus 27, or if we do 2 times 27, we're going to get 54. So that tells us that the whole angle, the whole angle RSW is 54 degrees. So what did they ask us to actually find? The measure of angle TSW. Okay, TSW, that's the lower angle, so that's going to be 27 degrees. And angle WSR. WSR is the whole angle, and that is 54 degrees. Okay, for all remaining questions, you must show your work. No work equals no credit. Okay, so BD is a bisector of angle ABC. So that means that since the larger angle is being cut exactly in half, then these two smaller angles must be equal to each other. So let's see what we have. They are telling us that angle ABD is 4x minus 10. Okay, so ABD is the top half. So this is 4x minus 10. And angle ABC is 6x plus 22. Well, angle ABC is the big angle. Okay, so angle ABC goes all the way from here to here, and they're telling us that that is 6x plus 22. So we're given an expression for a half, and we are given an expression for the whole. So I'm hoping you can see that if we did 2 times a half, that should equal the whole. Alright, doesn't that make sense? 2 halves make a whole. So since the half is 4x minus 10, then what I have is 2 times 4x minus 10 should equal the whole. The whole is 6x plus 22. So 6x plus 22. And then it's just a matter of solving this equation. So to solve this, we'd have to do the distributive property. That's going to give us 8x minus 20 is equal to 6x plus 22. Variable on both sides, what you want to do is subtract one of the variables to get those together. So that's going to give me 2x minus 20 is equal to 22. Now would be the time to add 20 to both sides. Okay, so that's going to give me 2x is equal to 42. And then to get x by itself, you want to divide both sides by 2. So that's going to give me x is equal to 21. So that's one of the things we were supposed to find, the value of x. Alright, now we're also supposed to find the measure of angle ABC. Alright, angle ABC is the whole. Alright, so we're supposed to find the measure of the whole right now. Okay, so let's see. So if I'm going to find the whole is 6x plus 22. So that is 6x plus 22. But now we know that x is 21, so that makes this 6 times 21 plus 22. Okay, so that's going to make this, okay, so 6 times 21 plus 22. So that's 148. Okay, so that is the whole, that is angle ABC, 148. Okay, degrees. And then how about angle DBC? Angle DBC is a half. Okay, now I could use this expression that I have for a half, the 4x minus 10, or I could use my common sense and just take half of what I just got. Since the whole is 148, half will be 148 divided by 2. So that'll be 74. Okay, what do we have here? Segment BD bisects angle ABC. Okay, so this is a bisector, and which tells me that these two halves are equal halves. So DBA is 6x minus 2. Okay, DBA. So this half is 6x minus 2. CBD. Alright, CBD is the other half, and we're told that that is 4x plus 16. Well, guess what? These two halves should equal each other. So that means that 6x minus 2 should equal 4x plus 16. To solve this, as soon as I see that I have a variable on both sides, I'm going to subtract one of them to get them together. So these will cancel each other out, and then I will have 2x minus 2 is equal to 16. Then you would add 2 to both sides, so you have 2x is equal to 18. Then you divide both sides by 2. And you get x is equal to 9. Alright, so that's one of the things that we were supposed to find. But now we are supposed to find the measure of angle DBA. Okay, so the measure of angle DBA. Let's see, DBA, which by the way is one of the halves. Alright, so I always like to label that. But we have an expression for DBA, it's 6x minus 2. Alright, and now we know x is 9, so that's going to make this 6 times 9 minus 2. Okay, so that's going to make this 54 minus 2. So that'll be 52. So this will be 52. Alright, now we're supposed to find the measure of angle CBA. Okay, CBA is the whole. Ha! I spelled it like it's a hole in the ground instead of a hole like two halves make a whole. Silly me. Okay, so if we just found the half, then the whole should be double that. So if I do 2 times the 52, then that should be the whole. So of course that is going to be 104. Alright, great. Alright, so those are angle bisectors. So now we have segment bisectors. And a segment bisector is a midpoint or a segment passing through a midpoint. But the key is the midpoint. So M is the midpoint of AB and QT. It's the midpoint of everything. So that means that segment TM and segment MQ are congruent. Those distances are equal. That means segment AM and segment MB are congruent. All right, so we are told that TM is 3x plus 5. Okay, so this right here is 3x plus 5. All right, what else are we told? MQ is x plus 7. Okay, so MQ is x plus 17. Okay, those should be equal to each other. So I'll come back to that in a moment. We are also told that AM is 5y minus 1. So this will be 5y minus 1. And then we are told that AB is 38. Now AB is the whole distance from one end to another. So that'll be a little bit harder for me to show. So I'm going to have to show it at a distance. Okay, but AB is 38. Okay, that's the whole way from A to B is 38. Okay, so there are two equations that I can make out of this. First of all, TM and MQ should equal each other. So I can make an equation out of that. That equation is 3x plus 5 should equal x plus 17. Okay. Now I can make another equation out of AM and AB. Because if I take 2 times a half, that should equal the whole. 2 halves make a whole. But the half is the AM, the 5y minus 1. So 2 of those should equal the whole. Now the whole is 38. So there's your equation. 2 halves make a whole. 2 times 5y minus 1 should equal 38. So I should be able to solve the first equation for x, and I should be able to solve the second equation for y. When I have a variable on both sides, I will always subtract to get them together. And now I have 2x plus 5 is equal to 17. Subtracting 5 gives me 2x is equal to 12. Dividing by 2 gives me x is equal to 6. So that's one of the things that we were supposed to find. Okay, now doing the distributive property here, I'm going to get 10y minus 2 is equal to 38. So then I would add 2 to both sides, so that's going to be 10y is equal to 40. Okay, and then dividing both sides by 10, I get y is equal to 4. Okay, so that was another thing that we were supposed to find. Now, how about AM? Okay, AM, here, let me just write this down. So we're supposed to find AM, but AM is 5y minus 1. So that's 5y minus 1. And we know what y is, so now that's going to be 5 times 4 minus 1. So that'll be 20 minus 1, so that'll be 19. So AM is 19. Okay, now we're supposed to find TQ. Interesting. Okay, so TQ. So this is new. TQ is this whole length right here. This is TQ. Alright, so TQ should be double the length of TM or MQ. Okay, so I could pick either one of these because they're the same. MQ seems to be a little bit of an easier expression than TM, so I'm just going to pick MQ. So TQ should be double the length of MQ, right? Because TQ is the whole and MQ is the half. So we know that 2 halves should equal the whole. So if I do 2 times x plus 17, alright, 2 of the MQs, that should give me TQ. So this is going to be 2 times, well, we know that x is 6, so this will be 6 plus 17. So that's going to be 23, right? Okay, and then 2 times that is going to be 46. Alright, so that should be TQ, should be 46. Okay, this time we're on our own for the picture. Got to draw our own picture, so no big deal. M is the midpoint of PQ. So let's draw that. Okay, so there's M, and here's PQ. M is the midpoint. Okay, PM is 2x, and MQ is 8. Okay, so right there, these should be congruent. Alright, if M is the midpoint, the two sides should be equal. So 2x should equal 8. And then if you divide both sides by 2, then you get x is equal to 4. Okay, so that's one of the things that we're supposed to find. And then we're also supposed to find PQ. Let's see. Oh yeah, PQ, that's the whole. Okay? But, well, you know, MQ is 8. So this is really common sense because if half of this is 8, then of course the whole thing should be 16. Okay? The whole, 2 halves make a whole. And so we know that the half, MQ there, is 8. So that's going to be 16. So PQ should be 16. Okay, M is the midpoint of PQ. Alright, that's fine. So here's P, here's Q, and here is M. PM is 9x minus 3. So 9x minus 3. PQ is 11x plus 22. Now PQ is this whole thing. So that's, whoops, not sure what I was starting to write, but that's maybe a 9 again. But PQ is 11x plus 22. So 11x plus 22. So we're given an expression for half and whole. But we know that 2 halves equal a whole. Okay, so that means 2 times 9x minus 3, alright, because that's the half. That should equal the whole, 11x plus 22. 2 halves make a whole. So here I must do the distributive property, and that's going to give me 18x minus 6 is equal to 11x plus 22. Subtracting 11x from both sides. So that makes 7x minus 6 is equal to 22, because these cancel each other out. Time to add 6 to both sides. So that's going to make 7x is equal to 28. And to get x by itself, you divide both sides by 7. So those cancel each other out. And you end up with x is equal to 4. So that's one thing that we were supposed to find. So now we are supposed to find p cubed. Alright, PQ is 11x plus 22. But now we know that x is 4, so this will be 11 times 4 plus 22. Okay, so I can work this out by hand, or I can put it in my calculator like this. 11 times 4 plus 22. Alright, so it should be 66. Alright, 11 times 4 is 44. And 44 plus 22 is 66. So you can do either one of those things. Alright, so that's it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Go ahead and click here in the red apple to watch the next video. Click in the green apple to subscribe, or click the yellow apple for the full playlist.